Our project is paper level indicator for photocopy machines. This paper level indicator is portable and it can be attached to the existing photocopy machines. Our product helps to find the paper level and the percentage of the paper level. In this video, we will see what are the components used, hardware and software demonstrations, and finally results from the paper level indicator.
Introduce the components which we are going to use to design our paper level sensor. For that, first of all, we need the ray. Here we have cut it in a A4 size and we have pasted all the frames, and this display this to display this we have to tear it up, but for the start we are keeping this is acrylic glass. Then our next component, our main component is this. This is the main sensor we are using. This is the load cell. This can measure up to 5 kilograms. This is using a strain gauge mechanism. These are the 4 connector wires used to connect this load cell. This is plus voltage, minus ground, and this is the output voltages. And then this is the LCD screen which we are using to display the GSM, how much of GSM we are using, the paper GSM, for example 70, 75, 80, like that. How we are going to change the dial is we are using this kind of button. This kind of buttons are used to change the dial. By pressing it once, it will change the dial setting in this display. Connected the load cell to the ray, and how we have fixed it is add a scan bend and give us the voltage reading. But we cannot get the voltage reading directly from here to the Arduino because the voltage is very less. So we are using this kind of amplifier to amplify the voltage and then give the output to the Arduino. The Arduino will read the reading and give us the output output. The output, what the output is, we will give it to a LED array. For that we will use LEDs. These LEDs will indicate us the paper level.
This is our circuit diagram. Demo of our dial setting. This dial setting is used to select which type of paper we are going to use to measure how many papers are there. Here we are using one LED display and a push switch. If you press the push switch once, the GSM is 80. If you press it again, the GSM is 100, and if you press it again, the GSM is 70. So using this push button, you can select the type of the paper which will be displayed on the LCD screen. And using this potentiometer, the brightness of the LCD screen can be adjusted like this. This is the perfect setting we have right now.
Now we are going to see how the load cell output is changing when we are applying the weight. Before applying the weight, the output is here. When we press here, the output is changing. Now we have to calibrate the load cell output. We can calibrate the load cell output by placing the papers.
Now I am going to explain about the software part for our project. We are using Arduino IDE to code and compile the code to the board. On the one side of the screen you can see the serial monitor output, and the other side of the screen you can see our code. Let's look at the code first. These few lines of the codes are used to initialize the LED pins, and this particular line is used to initialize the LCD screen, and these particular lines are used to initialize the push button counter. Using the push button counter, the user will be able to select which type of paper he is going to place and how he do that. And when the user presses the push button, the button state will be changed to high from low. So we increment the push button counter. So the default value of the push button counter will be 0. So when the user doesn't press the button, the default value that will be shown on the LCD screen is 70 GSM with the amount of paper on the tray in percentage. And if the user presses the push button once, the push button counter will be incremented to 1. So the LCD screen will print 80 GSM with the amount of paper in percentage. Like that, if the user presses it again, the LCD display will show 100 GSM, and if the user press the button again, the push button counter will be reset to 0, so it will show 70 GSM. And we are printing the amount of paper in percentage with the paper's GSM. How we do that? We have calibrated our load cell according to the paper's weight to show the percentage of paper that are on the tray. How we did that? Let's look at the serial monitor. I have 80 GSM papers with me, so I am going to press the push button once. Now I have pressed the push button, so the number of pushes is 1. Now there is no paper on the tray, so we are getting this much of value from the load cell output. Now I am going to place some papers that will take the full capacity of the tray. Now I have placed papers that will take full capacity of the tray. So that value is this much, that is shown here. And if I remove some papers from the tray, the load cell output is changing. So we have taken two values, that is when there is no paper on the tray and when there is full amount of paper on the tray. With that, we have found out that the load cell output is linearly changing with the weight of the paper. So from that, we have subtracted the value that we got for the load cell output without any papers and when there is full amount of papers. That much value is defined for x, and this x is given as argument to the function LED array. What LED array does is, LED array we have defined 4 steps, and we have defined another steps where no LEDs will be light when there is low amount of paper. Other than that, if there is some papers, only one light will be light, and if there is few amount of papers higher than this much, 2 lights will be light. We have defined this according to the linearity we found by placing papers and getting the output from the load cell.
Now we have connected our all components together to demonstrate our device. Here we can see our LED array, which is going to indicate the paper level, and we have calibrated our device. Now we can see that the paper is empty, and we can see the paper is 70 GSM setting, and it is showing 0% as it is empty. Now I am going to demonstrate it. I have 70 GSM papers with me, and I am going to place it in a small amount on the tray. Now we can see the percentage is increasing, and if it is getting over 20%, we can see a 1 level indication, and I am more increasing, and if it is increasing over 40, we can see another level increase, and I am continuously increasing, and we are getting over 60, we are getting 3 level, and finally over 80% we are getting the full level of papers. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to change the dial setting to 80. Now we can see that one level has decreased, but here, because we are here 70 GSM papers, because the 70 GSM papers weight is less than the 80 GSM papers, we cannot get a full level. Now I will place the same amount of 80 GSM papers in the array. Now we can see that we can get the full reading for the 80 GSM paper. Okay, rather than that we can do it also for 100 GSM. For 100 GSM we can do it as the same way. Okay, thank you.